Hi, my name is Ken Mendenbach. I was one of the Harney County Resource Center occupiers, formerly the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Since the federal government can't own lands in the states, it's the Harney County Resource Center. But that's another story. I'm here today to talk about the reason I gave Judge Brown such a problem in court over her oath of office. Before I'm done here, you're going to see the biggest rabbit pull out of the biggest hat in the history of America. So let me start. Here in Article 6, Section 3, it just talks about the oath of office for everybody in government. Here it states, the senators and representatives before mentioned and the members of the several state legislatures and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. Support this Constitution. That's very important. Under Article 6, Section 2, it states, this Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. Well, support the Constitution is pursuant to the Constitution, and only that oath of office to support the Constitution, which is allowed and required, is the oath of office that all federal judges should be taking. Now, the Constitution was ratified in 1787. In 1789, Congress imposed two new oaths of office. The oath of office they chose for everybody to take was, I do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States. Well, that's exactly what the Constitution says. And they had that oath of office for a little over 70 years. And then in 1861, they changed it to, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, that didn't really change anything in government. It's not exactly what the Constitution says, but it didn't change anything. But in the same 1789, in the Judiciary Act, Congress decided to give federal judges a second oath of office, and it states that I do solemnly swear that and affirm that I will administer justice without respect to persons and do equal right to the poor and to the rich, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent upon me as a district court judge or a circuit court judge or a Supreme Court judge, according to the best of my abilities and understanding agreeably to the Constitution and laws of the United States. Well, that's not the oath of office that was in that is not the oath of office that was in the Constitution. This is the oath of office that was used in Marbury versus Madison in 1803. And it gave the federal courts the power to interpret the Constitution. And like I said, in Marbury versus Madison, 1803, it stated, when Congress imposed the unconstitutional second oath of office, or this is me talking here, in 1789, and then with that oath of office in Marbury versus Madison, the Supreme Court delegated the unconstitutional power of judicial review through this understanding agreeably oath of office. And then the judge swearing to discharge his duties agreeably to the Constitution of the United States is then defined in Marbury versus Madison. The Supreme Court stated, quote, why does a judge swear to discharge his duties agreeably to the Constitution of the United States if that Constitution forms no rule for his government, if it is closed upon him and cannot be inspected by him? If such be the real state of things, this is worse than solemn mockery. To prescribe or to take this oath becomes equally a crime, unquote. Now, according to Marbury versus Madison, it becomes a crime for a congressman to prescribe this oath, and a crime for a justice or a judge to take this oath if the Constitution is closed upon him and cannot be inspected by him. Thus, if a justice or judge takes this oath, the Constitution is not closed upon him and must be inspected by him, or it will be a crime. This is the unconstitutional power of judicial review. The Constitution only allows one oath of office to support the Constitution. That's the only one allowed. That's the only one required. They're not allowed to take a second oath of office, and this whole Marbury versus Madison is null and void because they're quoting an oath of office that's not in the Constitution. Now, in the 10th Amendment, it states that powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Now, there's nothing in the Constitution that says the federal government can interpret it. Marbury versus Madison is just a Supreme Court decision that gives the Supreme Court and the Circuit Court and the District Court judges the power to interpret the Constitution. Actually, the Circuit Court and the District Courts are supposed to abide by what the Supreme Court says, but sometimes the Supreme Court hasn't made a decision on it, so then they have to do it, and then it moves on up the ladder to the Supreme Court. But the federal government having the power to interpret the Constitution is in itself unconstitutional. In my case with Judge Brown, I brought the oath of office, and she takes a combined oath where the constitutional oath and the statutory oath are both, or judicial oath, are both in the same combined oath. And this is what it looks like. If you can snap that, a picture of that while we're on the line here, you can read it over. But this is the oath, 2 oaths of office that Judge Brown took, and I kept having to needle her on it. She kept trying to avoid it. She didn't want to have to answer it, and she wanted to just pass it on to the Circuit Court, which, well, I have another case that's going on, and that is going into the Circuit Court, and it'll be decided here hopefully this year sometime. But now, so then who does have the power to interpret the Constitution? Well, I came across a quote by Thomas Jefferson in 1823, and he stated, "The ultimate arbiter of the Constitution," Thomas Jefferson explained, "is the people of the Union assembled by their deputies in convention at the call of Congress or 2/3 of the states." Well, that's exactly right. That's the states and the people interpreting the Constitution. The people vote in their deputies or delegates to just convene at convention and take the place of the Supreme Court. And this is a Republican form of government. We have elected officials. Supreme Court justices and federal judges and they're all appointed. They're not voted in by the people. This is constitutional, and this gives we the people of the fourth branch of government, which has more power to interpret the Constitution. It gives us more power than the executive, judicial, or Congress, which is just the way it should be. So I just wanted to bring this information to you and dwell over it. I mean, if it's something that you want to research on, you can go to Marbury versus Madison and our documents and read that on the last page of in the last 5 paragraphs of Marbury versus Madison. You'll read this oath of office, and I'm sure you can probably find this Judge Brown's oath of office on my Facebook page someplace. And then you can also go on Google search and find this story here about the oaths of office that has the Supreme Court building up there, and you can find out some more information about this stuff. But this is, once again, this is the biggest rabbit pulled out of the biggest hat in the history of America, because everything is determined by the Supreme Court as to whether it's constitutional law or not, unconstitutionally. Okay, well, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.